And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we returned. We've returned with our semifinals, with our second semifinals match of the broadcast. Here we go. Shout out to Mute in the chat, by the way. I mentioned before that we are covering matches via replays from the games that Cosmos provided. He did miss out on a couple of games here and there, but looks like we were able to receive some of those missing matches. Here we go. We're jumping into our fresh best of 3 and spawning. We're jumping into Tokamak. We have game number 1 here between El Huevito and Mute. Let's go. Let us go. This game 1 is on Tokamak, and we are jumping on in. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Colombian Zerg player. We have the yellow Zerg. It is eGGz. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss. It is Mute for Bing Bong Exports. Let's go. Gracias, todos. Agua. Gracias, papi, gracias. Here we go. It's a Zerg player? That's crazy. It's actually been a while. Not like this. Fun fact, we casted the WarDCV Monday yesterday. We didn't cast a single Zerg player in that event. I mean, I apologize. I believe we did cast Ragnar. True. We casted Ragnar versus Showtime. But outside of that, we didn't cast any Zerg players. We were a little bit fortunate during Sparkling Tunica, where we were able to feature Solar. That was in Tunica 2 weeks ago. Outside of that, yeah, we just... The Zerg representation, they're slim and far between, so I appreciate that eGGz did sign up, that he took part, and we'll see how far he can go. Again, eGGz, he's a veteran of the scene, veteran of the region. He has, I would say, a lot more experience than Mute. Mute, he's a newer face. He did compete many years ago. I want to say he retired like around 2018, like around 2017, 2018. Then he came back, of course, coming into 2024, and he did rise very quickly through the ranks. He rose quickly through the ranks amongst the Latin American, or amongst the Americas region, rising through to the point where I would say that Mute, he is a top 2, maybe top 1 Protoss in Latin America. I would say he's top 2 alongside Master, and I would say that he's had stronger accolades compared to Master, so you can make an argument that he is the best Protoss in Latin America currently. And it feels bad, man. Paquito, I see Paquito in the chat every now and then, but he did retire quite some time ago. Shakti is very much so less active nowadays as well. Darkness retired many years ago, and likewise so did Zions, for example. We used to have like a plethora of Protoss players in Latin America, but nowadays less so. We have Master and Mute, of course, taking that mantle. As Master did make it to the semis, likewise Mute is here in the semis as well. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Stargate opener out of our Protoss player. I don't really expect anything too crazy or too cheesy. From my experience, Mute is a pretty standard player in PvZ, building up into the mid game, and then from there could even embrace Sky Toss. So we'll see if eGGz can try to stop that from happening. We'll see if he can try to bring that down. I expect more aggression out of the Zerg player, for sure. There are 3 races. Depends on the region. Kind of like that used to be the case. Like if you remember back in the day, when I say back in the day, I mean like 2020, 2021, 2022. I would have said that Southeast Asia / Oceania and Latin America, they were the Zerg dominant regions. They were the Zerg dominant regions. Like Latino America had Eric, had Cham, had eGGz, had Ryu, had Jim Rising, Dark Unnamed, Universe, the Zerg Lord, and many others. Like there were a lot of Zerg players in Latino America. Likewise, in the Southeast Asian region, you had the Zerg Muta triangle, right? You had Miyamaika, Ender, Gogo, Joey, and Demi. Yeah, that kind of like that strong like trifecta, and Demi in the middle of all of them when it came to Zerg representation. But all the players that I just mentioned, most of them, they've all retired. Like they've all stopped competing, stopped playing. The Protoss and Terrans stuck around, but the Zerg less so. So yeah, nowadays the Zerg dominant regions not so much anymore. Smooch. So I appreciate that we have one eGGz, one Huevito here. I appreciate it. Why you choose Zerg? If I remember correct, my answer is very boring. So back in the day, as we opened up Stargate into Oracle, that is going to be a Forge, a Twilight Council follow-up after the third base. So standard follow-up here, +1 and Blink out of Mute. Meanwhile, eGGz does make a plethora of Zerglings here to harass the third, to apply some pressure. The Oracle's here to defend, and the Oracle will deflect. Meanwhile, eGGz go for a much earlier Roach Warren. So early Roach Warren here out of eGGz, but he so far is droning, not making use of that Roach Warren yet. Looks like a safety Roach Warren out of the Zerg play. Okay. Does go for the safety Warren. But back when I started playing, I mean, I was, I guess, playing and watching StarCraft from the beginning. But when I first started to ladder, I didn't actually, up until Heart of the Swarm, I only ever played the campaign. I didn't have the internet to actually play ladder and actually play any kind of competitive StarCraft. I just didn't have the bandwidth for it. My internet was not fast enough to play online gaming until Heart of the Swarm. And then one day I decided, you know what? I'm gonna play some StarCraft. I'm a ladder. At the time, the Australian region was a lot more Zerg dominant. We had Moonglade, we had Pig and Chachito, we had Patronus, if you remember. We had Mighty Kiwi as well. We also had eGGz. He was around as like the Terran representative. We didn't have much Protoss. This was before Probe. Before Probe really came into form. Before Probe, it was a lot more Zerg heavy. So Australia was a more Zerg heavy region. And I found out that a big reason for that is because of ping. If you're playing from Australia, there's a lot of ping involved, and because of that, it can be very difficult to play very micro-intensive races, very spell-heavy races. So I heard that like Zerg was a little bit easier to work with. If you're playing with like 200 ping, then you know you can embrace Zerg. So yeah, I played on the US West server with like 200, 250 ping, playing Zerg. That's why I started playing Zerg. Because of all the latency. I guess all the latency and because all the other Aussies were Zerg. So I was like, ah, yeah, cool. Oh, Mute, he does move out. So we just see eGGz rushing into the gold. Okay. Does rush into the gold. And so far, Mute, he is going to be able to apply pressure. Does 9 mining. Does 9 mining. Does 9 to gold base. Takes down the expansion. Nice pick up here again. eGGz, he just cannot engage. The names, the throwbacks. Yeah. They were all in the root house. When I say all, do you remember Fenner? Right, yeah, there was Fenner as well. There was Fenner, Mighty Kiwi, and Betrays and eGggz. They were all in the root house too, and they would all stream together as well. They would all stream. I was a big root fanboy because of all the. I mean, they had the best of both worlds. They had all the Aussies. They had a bunch of like Oceanic representation, and they had a bunch of Latin American representation. Like they had Cats. They eventually got Jim Rising, and they had Kelliser. They had Diego as well. It's like that's just me. They got all the Aussies and the Latin Americans. Okay. So I was a big root fan. Just all things light. Yeah, let's go. So here we go. As from here, we are going to be building up again. Mute does claim his 4th base. And he's taking up into Skytel. So we were a little bit distracted. I do apologize. But we did have Mute just knocking down the initial 5th base, knocking it down. We just see eGGz attempting to engage. But he's stuck with a really awkward army. He is now taking up into Hive and taking up into Hydras, but right now he's stuck on Ling Roach Ravager. I don't really see him breaking through this anytime soon. Does go for a massive Ling counterattack. We'll see if he can deny that 4th base. Alas, we have a wall of cannons already getting set up. And Storm does zone. Things, they do hit the fourth. They're getting on top of the cannons. Cannons are going to be going down, but they're buying time. That's the purpose here. They're just buying time for the rest of the army. As Zealous do reinforce, Oracle has arrived as well, and Mute holds. Mute, he defends the fourth base. He shuts down the Ling aggression, and eGggz is in a really rough position here. He's down on bases, down on economy, down when it comes to tech as well. Ay. And Mute, he's going to be able to snowball that control with his Sky Toss, as right now there's no answer. Again, eGggz, he was just too heavily committed here on Ling Roach. The Hydras are delayed, the tech is delayed. And especially on Tokamak, this is where Mute is going to be favored. For those that we didn't really get to talk much about the map itself, but loading into Tokamak is very, very defendable on 4 bases. It's very easy to defend here, so you can just see Mute turtling. You just turtle up on 4 bases. You will throw down your cannon, shield battery, split up your army into 2 as well, and then you can max. You can max out into Sky Toss, and Mute, he's almost there. As the Stargates, the Fleet Beam is done, Stargates are finishing, and Tempest production has begun. So Mute, he can just sit back and get into Sky Toss. eGggz, he can no longer stop him. Mute, he's being a little bit more active here. Bold move. Roaches are being pinned down. How many lurkers are there? Only one. Oh god, only one. Again, it's just 2 Ling heavy here. Lings, they just get annihilated. The Storms, they punish the Zerglings. I want to say we wasted a couple of high tempo there, morphing them into Archons. I think there were a couple of Storms remaining, but regardless, does break through, takes down all the Ravagers. No detection. No detection, no Observer. Oof. And with that eGggz, he will hold on. At the same time, Zealorping into the main base. 13 drones going to be going down. Takes down the economy, takes down the mineral line, and eGggz is being torn apart. Now, the plus side is that Mute, he's not just sitting back and going to Sky Toss. He could have 100%, but he's being more active here. He's being more active, being more assertive, bringing the action to eGggz instead, and looking to break him earlier on as well. As there's still no detection, by the way. There's still no Observer here, so the Lurkers are going to be able to hold their own. Observer production has begun. And eGggz, he's hurting here. Unless Mute gives him time, if Mute completely backs off, gets another base, and waits until he maxes out, then maybe eGggz can have a chance and have an opportunity to build up a comparable army and max out in some way. But that's really what eGggz is hoping for. He's hoping that Mute makes mistakes and hoping that Mute is passive. That is the hope. Meanwhile, a big shout to Agonthor and Aegon in the chat. Gracias. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime for 2 months. Para 2 meses. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Man. As eGggz does catch out the initial Zealotry on the right hand side. Mute's pushing to the center. Zealots here towards the left. Catching out the Lings. Catching out the Hydras. As the Oracle has arrived, now we can finally get the Revelations going. Tempest moving in. And eGggz shouldn't be able to hold his own here. Yeah, the Lurker's going to be going down. The Queen's going to be going down as well. eGggz just doesn't have the numbers, doesn't have the supply. And he will lose another base. We mentioned earlier that the one chance that eGggz had, it was if Mute was passive, right? If Mute was passive, if Mute backed off, then maybe, but nah, not here. GG gets called, and eGggz, he will tap out. Mute will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. We do see Mute taking the lead in the series. Again, eGggz, he was so Ling Roach heavy at the start of the game, and he wasn't able to achieve anything with it. He fell behind. Remember, the Hive was late, the Hydrogen was late, the 4th base was denied and shut down as well. Early on, he was just crippled economically and crippled tech-wise as well. That's why eGggz just could never engage the army and the forces of his opponent of Mute. He could not push in. He was outscaled. eGggz. He was outscaled quite early there, and because his tokamak, his run-bys were achieving no damage. He was trading against cannons, against zealots. He wasn't really dealing any meaningful damage. GG. GG, well played. With that, we do see Mute taking a lead, and now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let's go. I do feel like eGggz, his strengths are going to be aggression and all-ins, and on smaller maps, that's going to be more favored. And speaking of, here we go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the Colombian Zerg player, the yellow Zerg, representing himself, currently teamless. It is eGggz, El Huevito. So I'm losing my voice a little bit. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. Here we go. As we're settling into game number 2. And again, the rush distance by ground is much shorter here on Persephone. I will say that some of these bases are a little bit more accessible, specifically this area here. This area in between the 3rd and the 4th base is more accessible. You can move in, you can try to break a player either on their 3rd or at their natural in between the bases, forcing them to pick and choose. We have seen a lot of German taxis on Persephone, and that's what we're expecting out of eGggz. I don't think he wants to go into another longer game, but something that's going to help eGggz coming into this is, remember, Tokamak was the best map for that, right? Tokamak is known for its macro, it's known for its defendable 4-base setup, so it's easier to turtle up and get up to that sky toss on Tokamak, more so than, I would say, any other map in the map pool. So Tokamak was the best map for Mute coming into Persephone and future maps as well. This is where eGggz can thrive a little bit more, assuming he's going to be more aggressive. So now we do have our initial openers. Nothing too crazy. Just catching up. Oh, este Vortex in the chat. Good to see you, papiga. Yo, I need to message Kuro to message you, Vortex, because she saw the duct tip. She really liked it. She really liked it. Do appreciate it. For those who are curious, Vortex, he is the lamb. And he used to be a little bit more ingrained in StarCraft back in the day. He used to admin tournaments in the Latin American region, the Latin American scene. And back in the day as well, he used to make us some duct tapes. He used to edit together some clips. And again, if you're an older school viewer of the CranKy Ducklings, you would remember the duct tapes. We haven't showed one in quite some time. They're a little bit outdated now. But they're a lot of fun. They're very well edited together. And I think the last duct tape was like 2023, right? 2023 or 2022. It's been a couple of years. But Vortex, he made us a new duct tape after many years. He made us a new one. So thank you so much. And I will be looking to feature that soon. I still have to set that up and get that going. But yes, I'll show it off. For sure. Este Vortex. I never played as a viewer. I liked Terran first, but I fell in love with watching Zerg. Let's go. Yeah, when I first started playing StarCraft in Wings of Liberty, I was Terran, but as I said, like I never laddered. Like I never properly laddered. I think I played Terran a couple of times on the ladder when I went to like a PC bang. There are a lot of PC bangs in the like Sydney area, and because I didn't have the internet to ladder from home, so I remember going to a PC bang, going to a PC cafe and playing StarCraft a little bit. And I remember, I think, I didn't know how to expand properly or anything like that. I think it was like on 2 bases going like Bio Thor or something crazy. Dying horribly. Again, it wasn't until Heart of the Swarm where I was like, I'm gonna actually look to ladder, look to improve, and actually play the game. Great. eGggz in particular was one of the few Terrans who was competitive player in the region. There were a lot of Terrans. There was eGggz, there was Azure, there was oh god. I almost said Semper. Semper was American. eGggz, Azure. Wally was Zerg. There were a lot of Zergs. God, I'm trying to reach into the recesses of my mind. Huts, true, yeah, gee, I almost forgot. There was Huts, there was another, obviously Seether, eGGz, Hut. There's another that's like barely escaping my mind. Before Piglet, before Piglet, of course, before all of that. But for a long time, eGGz, he was like top 2 alongside Betrayus. This was after the era of Pig, because first it was Moonglade, then it was Pig, and then it was Betrayus slash eGGz, mainly Betrayus, but like Betrayus slash eGGz. Then we had NXZ for a little bit, and then Brogue, then like the era of Probe, and then the era of Piglet. Here we go. Here we go. For the time being, we are getting into our openers. We do have, again, a standard opener here by Mutes going for a Stargate into his third base, into +1 and Blink. Same build. Just same build 2 games in a row. Meanwhile, eGGz, he is going into... He's taking a lot faster. This I appreciate. This time, he doesn't make a wave of Zerglings. Remember, last game, he made like 35 Zerglings. He had so many Zerglings active on the map. They didn't achieve anything. Here, oh, as it looks like we had a bit of some latency. Oh, Enki, Hermoso was here as well. Let's go. Hermoso. But from here, eGGz is going to be building up, double expanding, and taking much faster into Hydras, which I do appreciate. Ooh, Overload Speed. Overload Speed is on the way. Interesting. eGGz, he is droning up to 3 base saturation. He's getting a 4th and a 5th base for now, just for Larva. We'll see if he drones them up. We'll see if he goes for drop play. Again, going into... Oh, looks like... yeah, that looks like they did lag out. I do recall, but it looks like we're getting into Overlord Speed, and typically Overlord Speed is indicative of drop play, but we'll see if eGGz has something else in mind. Yeah, I've got my eyes on these Overlords. What's the plan? So Mew moving on the right hand side, going for his own push, looking to deny the expansion. eGGz did double expand, and there it is. Here come the Dropper Lords. Again, we saw the Overlords moving out. We're going for a massive Doom drop. eGGz, he is going to be cutting workers here at 77. That is just under 4 base saturation. 4th base under fire, and eGGz ignores it. Yeah, he ignores the 4th base. He's got his own backup 4th. He's got a 5th base on the way, and eGGz is going for the drop. Send it, baby, send it. Yeah, yeah, there's the emote for the duct tape. Yes, the duct tape. Let's go. As eGGz is going to be dropping. Making his way over. Muse, he will miss this. We are moving in, getting on top of Storm. Yeah, Temple Archive is going to be going down, going to be denying Storm. Again, Mew completely out of position. Again, he did not see this. He failed to scout the drop, failed to see the move out. He's racing all the way back. And do we deny Charge? No, not quite. Charge is going to finish, but at least does deny Storm. And eGGz is just pulling him apart completely. The Stalkers, as they race home to defend against the drop. Now the army moves in, denies the 4th base. And again, Mewtwo just cannot keep up. Not like this. We have some side defense on the way. eGGz starts stepping in. He has supply blocks, losing a bunch of the drop lords. True. There's a recall. Army recalls over, which means the drops, they come back. The drops do come back. This time there is an army waiting. And Mewtwo's keeping up. Cleans up his army. eGGz pushing in. Remember, there's no Storm. And eGGz has done it. eGGz has done it. He has broken Mute. GG gets called, and eGGz El Huevito ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. We're going to the ace match here again. eGGz, as soon as we saw Overlord Speed, we're like, okay, we should be going for Drop Lords. I was expecting more of like a German Taxi-esque kind of play, but no, he just went for the Doom Drop straight into the main base, and we saw there was no Observer, there was no Hallucination, there was no Vision, no Scout of the drop. Mewtwo was pushing at the same time, and he was completely out of position. Unfortunately, he had no recall available either. He recalled defensively to his 3rd base later, but last the main base. By the time he got back in, the damage had been done. and he was just torn apart left and right. GG. With that, we're getting into the ace match. Let's go. We're getting into game 3, and we'll see how this story ends as we're going to be loading into ley lines. Here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player with the Peruvian Protoss. We have the blue Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports being forced into the ace match. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is Mute. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the yellow Zerg player, the yellow Zerg, the Colombian Zerg. It is eGGz. As Nero would say, Overlord Doom Drops. That's just what they're called. It's just a Doom Drop. Just a Doom Drop. But yeah. Typically the jargon or the vernacular for that sort of thing. Generally. Here we go. We are going to be settling into our game. And we'll see how eGGz does adjust. Now again, eGGz, who was a hyper-aggressive last game and going for the Doom Drop into the main base, I don't expect to see that again. I don't expect to see him adjust or go for... Sorry, I don't expect to see the same build 2 games in a row, so we'll see how he does adjust. We'll see if he does go for something more aggressive earlier on, like a German taxi, like a 2-base all-in. We'll see if he goes for a 3-base all-in. That's going to be when you cut workers at under 70, where you get a 4th base just for lava, and you just send it across the map with laying Hydra. We'll see. We are loading into, I would say, more of a defensive map, at least more so compared to Persephone. And as a result, Mute may be more defensive here, more successfully so. Here we are going to be joining. So far, standard opener. eGGz pulls out of gas, gets into link speed, and we'll soon get into our tech of choice. Okay, so it's crazy going through, reaching into the recesses of my mind for the old school StarCraft scene. A lot of the players moving on to greater things or into their own careers. Like Fenner, he became like an Overwatch streamer. I don't know if he still does that, but he became, I want to say, quite a successful Overwatch streamer. I saw eGGz not too long ago. He's still got a massive beard. He's I think I saw eGGz. Oh god. I saw him at BrizCraft, I want to say BrizCraft, and I think I saw him at PAX Australia. You know who I ran into at PAX Australia, which was crazy, just randomly. The PAX Australia was what, 2022? I think it was 2022, maybe 2023. I think it was 2022. But you know who I ran into at the StarCraft event that we were hosting was Moonglade. He was at PAX. It was so random just because he's been out of it for so long, and I barely recognized him because he has his hair is shorter. Like back in the day, back when he was casting GSL, he would have his long luscious mane, but he has really short hair now, and I noticed him, and I was like, oh hey, we were able to catch up. It was crazy. But yeah, he was just like, you know, at PAX, and they happened to go by the StarCraft area. There was a StarCraft 2 tournament happening at PAX. I casted the first series. Pig was there. All the other Aussie boys were there as well. So really cool to see. Moonglade, he said that he doesn't really watch too much StarCraft anymore, but like, you know, definitely, you know, willing to drop by and tune in and see what the boys are up to nowadays. The young blood. So it was really, really fun seeing him again. Oh. You know, he's got his own like career and his own IRL job nowadays. He's moved on from gaming, moved on from esports, but really cool to see. He's doing well. He's doing well. For now though, getting 5 drones. I mean, this is pretty solid damage. 5 drones going down. The Oracle does back off, does pull away. Couple of workers. Likewise, layer in production for eGggz. eGggz just trying to keep up with the Oracle harass. Behind this, standard follow-up, going into the Forge, +1, Blink. Again, same build 3 games in a row like that. It's just standard play here by Mute. Nothing crazy. Really, where our eyes are on eGggz instead. He does have the safety Roach Horn once again. He does go for his Evo Chamber. Depending on whether he goes into melee or range, that'll be indicative of how he wants to play this out. We're leaning more towards range once again, but we'll keep an eye on eGggz. Oh, yep, there we go. Once again, going into range. Indicative that once again, we're going into Hydras. So Roaches into Hydra into Roach Hydra. Is the setup that we're going for. If we see Overlord speed, then we're going to be expecting another Doom drop. I don't expect it 2 games in a row, but it'll be available for him if he wants to. He's only being active with the Oracles. Back at home, Temple Archives on the way, getting into Storm. And this time we are rushing into an Infestation Pit. Okay, much faster pit. Because of this eGggz, he's going to drone. He's going to drone up to 4 base saturation. He's going to be quite greedy here, and his goal here is to take up into Hive, to take up into Lurker. So we're rushing into Lurker tech. This is very greedy. This is very greedy. It does mean that your main army is going to be lacking that much more in the lead up to this, and it means that eGggz is vulnerable. eGggz, he's vulnerable right now, and we'll see what you can get done. So Mute is moving out. So Mute pokes in, pulls away, hits the 5th base, and will force a cancel. Not bad. I say 5th. That was the 4th expansion. We have a backup 5th base on the way, but only just now starting. So very nice pickup here from Mute. As we mentioned, because eGggz has been taking up so much. Oh. I assumed that was an Infestation Pit for Hive Tech. Are we going into Swarm Host? We're going for the Nidus. I mean, Infestation Pit does give you access. There it is. He's going into Swarm Host. Crazy. Okay. Okay. Swarm Hosts can be difficult to use. They are viable in this matchup, but they're very niche. They're very niche. If Mute had gone for, say, an Archon drop, if he had gone for an Archon drop opener into Charge, it's more ideal to go into Swarm Host. The reasoning for that specific scenario is because in that situation, the Protoss player does not blink. In that situation, they would not have blink, so it's easier to be active with your Nidus Worms, with your Swarm Host to poke in, to poke out, to get damage, and to escape. Here, because of the standard opener that Mute had gone for, it is more difficult to pull this off because this army here for Mute is very mobile. It's a very mobile army. You can blink, you can counterattack, you can punish, you can dive on top of the Nidus, you can dive on top of the Swarm Host. So this is going to be a more risky maneuver here from eGggz. Nidus on the right, so going for the natural. Main army towards the left-hand side. Does force a cancel. Does cancel the expansion. First wave is coming into the mineral line. First wave is moving in. Am I crazy? I swear I saw a hydrogen. Maybe I am crazy. I thought I already saw it earlier. Where we had the lair, but maybe I was just making an assumption there, as we do see over the storms are connecting. 10 probes going down, not bad. Yeah, send workers. We have more storm hosts building up. This is an okay start for eGggz. Oh god, the storms are brutal though. The storms are brutal. More storms mainly zoning. Here, Mute dealing with the Locust Wave. And it will clean this up. We'll clean up the Nidus Worms on both sides. And again, this has been okay damage so far, but we need to get more done here. As Mute's army is getting better and better. Just building up over time. Oh, catching out some of the Stalkers. Gets one, gets two. Station Trap does go up. Trying to commit. Once again, the storms, they do punish. Oof. Storms are moving in. There's the Hydrogen. Second infestation bit? Oh. So eGggz panicking a little bit here. Throwing down whatever he can. But it looks like eGggz, he's trying to transition into Hydra, then into Lurker tech. So far, he's at least containing Mute on 3 bases. But remember, the soup does lie. Like, if you see this, eGggz he's at 200 supply, he's up 50 supply. True, doesn't mean anything though. That's again, Roach Ravager and Swarmhost are very supply heavy. They're very supply heavy. They're not really indicative of the strength of the army. In a head-on fight, I favor Mute. Ooh, that's a kill, not a cancel. Locust Wave does take down the 4th. Again, Mute breaking out. Yeah, and from here he dives on the army. Oh, brutal loss here for eGggz, as he will lose everything. Yeah, well, the Roach is going down. You can see eGggz plummet in supply. You can see eGggz, he was up 50 supply, not anymore. So as we mentioned, the soup does lie back. Be careful. As eGggz goes for the counter, sorry, Mute goes for a counter attack. He breaks down, so it does hit across the map. There's nothing to defend. eGggz will lose everything. The Queens, the Roaches. Again, just a very inefficient army from eGggz. It just doesn't scale well. Not into a longer game, and eGggz will lose everything here. Locust Wave does kill the expansion. True, kills the 3rd. But Mute doesn't care. Mute, he does not care. Not anymore. Knocks down the expansion. Blinks on forward. And he will lose. He'll take down more bases. The 4th base, the 3rd base. From here, he can just keep on pushing. There's just not really much that eGggz has to work with. He has a Locust Wave and a couple of Zerglings. And again, once this Locust Wave runs out, I mean, that's just dead supply. That's just dead supply at that point. Nice control. Saves the High Templar. Saves the Templar. Yeah, GG gets called as eGggz. He runs out of steam, he runs out of bases, and Mute, he will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Mute, he will claim the series. Congratulations. Again, eGggz, going into Swarmhost here, it's very niche. It's very niche in this matchup. And sure, he was denying bases, right? He was denying base after base, 4th base after 4th base. He was containing the Protoss on 3 bases. That's all you need, Pappy. That's all you need. You could definitely argue that eGggz, he took too long to tech up. He took too long to throw down the Hydrogen and start working towards Lurkers. It's so important, so crucial that you're ready for that when the Protoss player breaks out. Because once they do, they will have a better army compared to your Roaches. That's where you will need your Hydras, your Zerglings, your Lurkers. You need that more refined army. eGggz didn't get there. He did not get there in time. By the time Mute broke out, eGggz, he was still stuck on mass Roach Swarmhost, and he could not fight head-on. Could not take those head-on fights. His army just crumbled. GG. GG, well played. Whew. With that, we have our 2 finalists. We have our 2 finalists here for the tournament as we do switch our scenes over and catch up on the bracket. Here we go. We have our top 2. From the top, we had a Special, of course. Special took down Slayer's MVP, took down Master. Special made it through from the upper half of the bracket. Meanwhile, we had Mute. Mute took down the Mega, took down eGggz, and does advance on a face-off against Juanito in those finals. Again, shout out to eGggz for holding his own against Mute, but unfortunately, you know, I mean, he did play differently every game. True. He did have a different style every single game, which I appreciated out of eGggz. Mute, he went for the same builds, the same setups, the same openers. Didn't really need to adjust too much. But again, eGggz maybe getting a little bit too spicy towards the end there. Regardless, great to see him. Great to see some Zerg representation. Always. as now we're getting into the finals, getting into that best of 5.